Hello and welcome to another episode in our special series of CIB in Conversation, which is featuring the keynote speakers for World Building Congress 2022. Many thanks to our sponsors for the Congress and also for this series of conversations. They are on the screen right now. Today, we're pleased to welcome Sue Eddy, Chief Executive Officer of Victoria's principal building and plumbing regulator, the Victorian Building Authority, VBA, I may refer to you, Sue, during the conversation. So Sue, hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Great. Well, I know it's Monday morning there in Melbourne, so thank you very much for joining me at the start of the day.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, and we really look forward to welcoming you to the World Building Congress in late June. Why don't we start by if I ask you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your current role.
Oh, thanks, Don. Well, we too look forward to welcoming everyone down to beautiful Melbourne in the middle of the year. So my name is Sue Eddy. I am the CEO of Victoria's Chief Building and Plumbing Regulator, the Victorian Building Authority, or often known as the VBA. In Victoria, we play an integral role in ensuring Victoria's building and plumbing industries operate effectively to provide safe, compliant and well-constructed buildings. In my time as CEO, we've had to drive effective regulatory change as the industry has grown significantly and changed remarkably, especially in recent years through the backdrop of COVID-19. My main goal as CEO is to strengthen the building and plumbing sector to empower a future-ready industry to make Victoria a better place.
Well, thank you very much. And before we talk about some of the issues perhaps around COVID and your keynote topic, do you mind if I ask you just a little bit about your background and your career? You know, how did you get to where you are today?
Oh, thanks. Yes, well, I joined the public service well over 20 years ago, I think it is now. So I've been in the Victorian public service at that time. I started off in health and human services, spent some time in the Department of Treasury and Finance. I happened to be there just as the GFC hit, so it was a really interesting time, a great time to build my skills. Then I spent some time in economic development and jobs and transport. In the end of 2017, was appointed as the CEO of the Victorian Building Authority. So, you know, a really strong desire to serve the Victorian community, and I've learned so much through the intersection of all of those different policy environments, which, you know, led me to a passion I've got about the built environment and its importance in economic growth, but also in the livability and prosperity of our community.
And I mean, you came, you know, as a public servant, you came into our industry without presumably much background or knowledge or detailed knowledge of the building and construction sector. I mean, what's attracted you to it, or you know, where do you get the passion for the built environment from?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I'm a very tactile person. I had my own building experiences in health and human services. Obviously, a lot of providing support for people to reach their potential was about the built environment and economic development. We were building major infrastructure, so really understand the importance of quality infrastructure, pipeline of works, access to skills. So for me, it was a natural place to come and lead the organisation. There was also a lot of change, and there was a really big set of expectations about the regulator being more effective and efficient. And I thought I had that combination of skills that I learned over my career to, you know, give it the best crack to make Victoria a better place. So, you know, it's an absolute passion of mine and a privilege to be here. I'm also really passionate about lifelong learning and supporting the next generation of leaders. And through my role as CEO, I've also had the opportunity to put that passion in action. I'm now a council member of RMIT University and an executive in residence in Melbourne Business School.
And I mean, you know, how important to you is that engagement and that connection with the university sector?
Oh, we couldn't do our job without it. Absolutely fundamental. In my time here, we've established a really big research program. We're working with research partners right around the world, including universities, including manufacturing industry, many thought leaders. We can't get ready for the future if we're not all sharing that knowledge and solving some of those wicked problems that we have in the industry.
And in the audience in Melbourne in June, there'll be plenty of people who think we know about the role of building regulation and building authorities. But how would you describe that responsibility? What are the key features that are important for the industry?
Yeah, well, regulation plays a critical role in protecting communities and our environments from risk and harm. And part of our evolution as the Victorian Building Authority has been focused on building trust and upholding the safety and accountability of the building and plumbing industry. So we focus on being a regulator that's trusted to be effective, competent. We obviously have to be firm but fair, much more focused on being proactive by actively promoting compliance and acting to reduce risk. Ensuring we're smart, so we're knowledgeable, targeted intelligence, and a data-led agency. As I said, working with those partners, not just here in Victoria, but around the world, and ensuring we can be as responsive as we possibly can. So we're working in that consumer-focused and forward-thinking way. And at our heart, our job is to help practitioners in the communities they serve reach their potential by promoting that safe and sustainable built environment and a quality, vibrant industry. So we have to shift behaviour. We need to be effective in doing that. You need to be responsive to those who you're going to regulate, and that we're always striving for continuous improvements in our operations. And that really underpins the regulatory journey we've been on in recent years, and will continue to be in the years ahead.
And I mean, you mentioned behaviours and you mentioned sort of proactivity. How is the role changing, and how do you see the role even developing into the future?
Yeah, I think the World Building Conference 2022, is focused on building communities' attention on making our world a better place to live. And as regulators, we sit at the heart of that goal. So in my time at the VBA, we've been really trying to shift some of our focus around early intervention and early support. So engaging, educating, and regulating the industry to deliver positive social and economic outcomes. So doing that, we're trying to be really clear on our regulatory outcomes and the harms we're trying to reduce. As a regulator, you've always got constrained resources, so you need to take a risk-based approach. We're trying to be really transparent about the principles that underpin us being an effective regulator. And, we're constantly having to adapt. I mean, in the Victorian context, we've got really strong sustained growth even through COVID. So the industry is changing and adapting, and we've got different harms presenting all the time. So, really, I feel right now we're at this crossroads where we collectively really need to come together, and the actions we take over the next 12 to 18 months will define, our future and the future of all Victorians.
And I do love this focus on, focus on the outcome, on the long-term impact on quality of life of citizens here. Your keynote title is Building Regulation in Victoria and How Victoria is Preparing the Built Environment of the Future. I mean, I think we've probably covered some of the points you're going to make there, but would you like to share with us a couple of other highlights of points that you think you'll be making?
Yeah, I mean, we have discussed it a bit. I think it is about that critical role that regulators play. I think regulators are often misinterpreted as being in the way, stifling innovation. But it's really important that we are there. We are supporting the integrity and promoting that integrity of the industry and protecting consumers. And so it's how we do that. and that we are working together across the system. The regulation is one part of it, but it's really important that the teaching institutions, the researchers, the sector comes together, and we all drive the best possible outcomes that we can. So we don't stifle innovation, that we can pick up those efficiency and effectiveness gains, but we can also make sure that there is trust. And, as you'd appreciate, the buildings we're building today are going to be here, in decades to come. And I think I'm sure we all want to look back in 20 or 30 years and be really proud of the long-term outcomes of the built environment.
So I think this will chime massively well with all our Congress attendees. The role of regulation including to facilitate innovation and through collaboration with all the industry stakeholders. So I think that's a very welcome message. You mentioned at the start actually that you've had a challenging period. Everybody's had a challenging period with the global pandemic. Are there any particular sort of impacts of that pandemic or effects that you'd like to comment on in terms of how that's affected building regulation?
Yeah, look, I think overarchingly, as challenging as it's been enormously challenging for everyone. I think we've come out far stronger as a community and as a building industry and a building system as a whole. I've seen outstanding collaboration over the last couple of years. We've all come together. We've solved some wicked problems in the Victorian context. We've kept the industry open, ability to operate safely. Homes are being built every day. Yes, there are challenges in the supply chain and skills and materials and those types of things, but really feel that, in a crisis, you get the opportunity to kind of break down some of those traditional barriers that might be there about working together. And, we are far stronger as a community in Victoria. And I'm really excited about that and what that's going to mean for how we work into the future. And I think I'm really excited, about the conference as well, as that challenge like we've had over the last couple of years to think outside the box, come together as a community with a single goal and to make the world a better place to live. And
so I mean, what would you like to achieve at the conference personally, Sue? Are you looking forward to meeting some of the global delegates who will be coming into Melbourne? Well, we trust that most of them will be coming in personally. I think a few will be attending online.
Super excited. I mean, fingers crossed we can have an in-person event. It feels like it's been a long time. Yeah, that's where I get my energy from. I get my energy so energized by hearing, what people are doing, the ideas they're bringing to the table. WBC 2022 has a fantastic array of presenters. So yeah, can't wait. Wish it was really happening next week. And, I think we'll all learn. I'm really confident that we'll learn out of that. There'll be new relationships formed. Hopefully that leads to new partnerships and better outcomes into the future.
Well, that's a fantastic message to promote the Congress. Thank you very much. If I could just ask you one final question, it would be, how would you describe your what would be your key message, top opportunity, we sort of call this question. What would be your message to researchers or practitioners or both around the world to take away from your keynote or from the point of view of a regulator?
Yeah, look, I think regulation is important to lean into the regulatory framework rather than not understand it or avoid it or try to work around it. It's there for a purpose. It's there to get a better outcome. It's not there to be in the way. And we get the best outcome when we all collaborate and we share those ideas and research and set ourselves up for a better system. We all want that efficiency and effectiveness, and we can only get that if everyone genuinely comes to the table. And again, thanks for organising the conference. Just what a fantastic opportunity to get access to all of that thinking and those experts. So I'm super excited.
Well, Sue, thank you very much. And let me add my particular thanks to RMIT because they've done all the work in organising the conference on our behalf. It's been great. Thank you very much for joining me today. I can't wait to meet you in June. And as I'm sure goes for all the attendees of the conference. Thanks for your time.
Thanks. Travel safe. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And to all our viewers, thank you for watching this special edition of CIB in Conversation. Thank you again to our sponsors, and we look forward to seeing everybody in June for World Building Congress 2022 in Melbourne. Thank you.